A champion's duty is to fight one mandatory annually. If they are not trying to unify titles, they should be fighting their mandatory opponents. So instead of shaming responsible champions doing their job as champion, you should be taking that energy and going after fighters that avoid their duties and find everything to not fight their mandatory, all while pretending to have such interest in unifying.
Aren't you embarrassed by this? A great fighter having to fight
a mandatory that's by the rules. I have to fight because they would do like Roy Jones didn't want him to do before he fought John Ruiz.
Don't tell me about anybody else.
If I didn't fight and defend my mandatory with the WBC, they would have stripped me. And I don't care what you say or anybody else say. This is my life, it's my prerogative. You do your job, I do mine.
Active full-time boxers fight much more annually than an average fighter. They do this because either they do not have the financial luxury of having training camps, and this is a way of staying in shape, gaining experience, staying sharp while earning an extra dollar. Perfect example, former champion Sirsikitsor Rungvisai. Rungvisai became mandatory for the WBC super flyweight title, earning his rematch against Carlos Cuadras in 2014. Somehow Rungvisai did not get his fight for the title till 2017. Instead of just waiting around, gathering rust and not making money, because he doesn't have such luxuries like fighters out west, he fought regularly till ultimately the WBC threw that burden on Roman Gonzalez. Now you're probably asking, does a guy like Julio Cesar Chavez belong in this bracket? And he actually does not. He fought all his mandatory contenders annually and stayed busy throughout the year, fighting opponents that you can classify as a sparring partner, but getting paid to do so like a Buck Smith. This certainly kept Chavez in shape and sharp, as he had a small window of time to take a legitimate break where one could put on some weight and party. Which, if we go back to Chavez's crazy lifestyle during those periods where he wasn't fighting for a couple months, that certainly helped prolong his career, as it forces him to be in fighting shape for almost a whole year, compared to your traditional seasonal 2 fights a year boxer, who few do breaks in moderation and stay in shape during those breaks of no fights.